And now, once the minister has office here, Right Honourable Speaker, who has the innate workings of the city, for whom we should be pointing fingers. So far 23 bodies have been recovered. And now we are talking about 25, a calamity of such huge proportions, and it is being casually handled before this House. So is the Honourable Minister proceeding right and government to continue handling this matter in the most casual manner, and also to shield away the responsible minister?
Thank you.
Who is always rare, but she's now here. She's here to answer to this.
Thank you.
And she's being kept in the background. Are we proceeding properly, Right Honourable Speaker?
Thank you. Now, honourable colleagues, if you listen to me earlier on, at the beginning I said the Right Honourable Prime Minister called me in the morning. And she told me she's the one the President and government have assigned the issue of Kiteezi generally, whereby the most important aspect as we talk of now has been the quick response of helping the people who have died, those who are distressed, those who are sick, before going on to the blame game of who didn't do what. The most important aspect has been to save whatever we can. Okay? And the Prime Minister is the coordinator of all ministers. So the Prime Minister, in fact, we discussed that same issue on Ebasechkubo. We discussed me and her in detail. And she said, no, both I'll come myself. Then at the last minute she called me. She's still holding an emergency meeting with finance on raising funds to help on this same issue. Then she said, I have assigned my Minister for Disaster to present on my behalf. But the Minister for KCCA will be in case there are questions which fall under KCCA, or if she feels she can hand on some critical information, she'll be given an opportunity. So we are proceeding very well, Honourable colleagues. Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I was on the humanitarian assistance that have been provided so far. And I did mention that Office of the Prime Minister provided relief food items, 40 tons of maize flour, 20 tons of beans, and 250 taplins. Uganda Red Cross Society provided non-food items, which includes blankets, saucepans, plates, taplins, and other items. Energy-saving stoves and also the solar lights to support the victims. The Right Honourable Prime Minister visited the site and provided 200,000 shillings to each individual, 54 beneficiaries who are currently in emergency shelter. The President provided 5 million shillings to each household that lost a person and 1 million shillings per injured person. Mortuary services and care is being handled by government, and the service is free of charge. No one is being charged for it. Owino traders under KCCA donated food and non-food items, sacks of clothes, bags, shoes, sanitary towels, matoke, and the rest. Preventive and mitigative measures, Right Honourable Speaker. Government to fast-track opening up of another landfill in Nalfield site in Menvu, Nansana, and in other areas which have been identified. This is still a process. A radius of 200 meters to be preserved as a buffer zone to avoid reoccurrence of the disaster, as the field has already been identified as having some cracks. So as a measure to avoid a similar incidents from affecting the people, we have gazetted an area of 200 meters. The flattering of the garbage hill to stabilize the landfill is ongoing, and I speak to you now, Right Honourable Speaker, the engineers and a team from KCCA is already on ground handling that. The short-term requirements, Right Honourable Speaker, recovery efforts are ongoing. We are working day and night to ensure that we recover the bodies. A comprehensive assessment of persons displaced and affected is ongoing. Mapping and registration of households at risk of relocation as per the President's directive. Coordination of humanitarian partners agencies are also ongoing and being managed under Office of the Prime Minister. Urgent negotiations on alternative waste disposal sites to mitigate the impending waste crisis. And the proposed sites have also been identified. A team was dispatched to go and ascertain the viability of the different sites that includes Menvu in Nansana, Wakiso District, Kiteezi, the 4 acres which is still in Kiteezi to be utilized, Ndungu, Mukono District, Nkumba, Chengera, Nabugabo, Abdil. Provide security for the persons at the resettlement camp. Police and the military is stationed to provide security of the people who are settled in the camps. Right Honourable Speaker, medium and long-term requirements. Hazard risk and vulnerability mapping of Kiteezi landfill and its neighboring surroundings. Relocation of mapped households at risk to safer areas, to relocate them from where they are to safer areas. Valuation and compensation of households where homes were demolished for search, rescue, and recovery operations. Expeditions of alternatives waste collective sites and decommissioning of Kiteezi land site. When we had quite a number of meetings, we all agreed that we will have to look at alternatives to decommission the Kiteezi land site. Challenges, Right Honourable Speaker. There's been a challenge on data collection because some of the people move from outside the area and they're coming in to have themselves registered among the beneficiaries. So a team from Red Cross and OPM is managing this to ascertain the right data so that we can support the right people. And claim bodies so far at the mortuary are 2, and they're all juvenile. We are waiting for the relatives of these people to claim the bodies. We have had a challenge while executing the duty because of rain and slippery terrains, and that lowered our speed. Claims by persons from distant places who are unknown. These are people who are not able to identify themselves as relatives of these people, so we'll have to take them through security investigations before we can ascertain the facts. Blocking of garbage trucks, yet Kampala generates over 2,500 tons. Right Honourable Speaker, the community from these alternative sites, some of the leaders have been mobilizing them not to accept deposits of this garbage. But Honourable Speaker, we know that Kampala and everyday homes are generating garbage and they have to be deposited so that we don't have another problem in the city. Right Honourable Speaker, children with unknown parents were also discovered, and I want to thank the Right Honourable Prime Minister because she took 3 of them and she's currently housing them at her residence. Local leaders from other dumping sites are stopping the garbage vehicles, and this calls for a political goodwill that we join hands to ensure that we don't again emerge with another challenge. Way forward, Right Honourable Speaker. Request for access to the contingency fund to get required resources for the emergency response. A meeting currently is being held, which is being chaired by the Right Honourable Prime Minister and the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Gender, Ministry of Works and Transport to ascertain how best we can access funds to boost the operations. Reduce the fuel to manageable size and decommissioning the dam sites. As I noted earlier, the security team, and together with the technical people are on site to ensure that we reduce the heap of the baggage so that we don't suffer a similar incident since we're still in a rainy season. To procure an incinerator and adopt modern methods of garbage management. Evacuate operators working. We are looking at having shifts that are more effective. That is at least 3 shifts. Another shifts work 6 hours and even in the night. And I want to thank KCCA for coming in with the manpower and also providing light to work at night. Right Honourable Speaker, we have 32 acres of land that has been identified at Menvu. 4 acres in Kiteezi, 14 in Nkumba, some of which is not suitable as alternative landfill sites, but they are under investigation, and we'll wait for a report from KCCA because we were tasked to work together with them. Privately owned sites like in Chengera, Nabugabo, Updeal are also options we are looking at. Not yet conclusive, but those are discussions we are looking at. I, at this point, would like to thank the President for his intervention of supporting the affected families with the 5 million shillings and injured victims with 1 million shillings. I also want to thank the UPDF for being on ground and supporting the work, Uganda Police Force, Uganda Red Cross Society. Particularly, I also want to thank the local community, Right Honourable Speaker. They came in on board and they were shift enough to support the action, and were able to rescue people. But also, I want to thank the local leaders, and the Member of Parliament was on ground with me for all these days, including the Lord Mayor himself. I want to thank them. We worked together, and we still continue to work together. Finally, Right Honourable Speaker, government is committed and working very hard to finding bottom solutions to waste management through alternatives like modern garbage management, through incineration and recycling, but also generating power out of the waste. But this can only be achieved when the members of the public also appreciate that garbage should not all be mixed. We don't mix broken bottles with plastics, and we don't mix them with banana peels. This is an area that we'll have to look at in future in order to handle issues of garbage disposal. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Honourable Minister. I take it it's comprehensive enough. Minister for KCCA will come later. I'm saying, Honourable Minister for KCCA, you will come in later during questions, or you have anything useful to add on? Thank you. Debate opens now, and I'm starting with the Shadow Minister for KCCA.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to discuss the biggest challenge Kampala capital city has. Right Honourable, Kampala generates 2,500 tons of garbage every day, but only 1,200 is collected by KCCA, including a consortium of contractors that were appointed by KCCA to deal with the garbage. Kiteezi was commissioned in 1996, and it was supposed to work for about 10 years. But unfortunately, we have had reports talking about decommissioning. We have had Asians recommending decommissioning of Kiteezi in vain. So this is not actually a natural disaster, but it has been induced by human. And there are very many institutions that are to blame, including Parliament, our own committee of budget.